We interrupt our regularly scheduled nonsense to tell you about this episode's sponsor, Knack. Knack bags are a unique combination of laptop bags and backpacks. They are expandable when you need the extra space, endlessly adaptable for any situation, and fully padded to protect your most precious electronics.
That's right, coupled with a stylish modern design, Knack bags are the perfect companion for 9 to 5 commuting, jet setting adventure, and everything in between. Shuffle off to knackbags.com to get yours today.
For a limited time only, use offer code BEYOND to check out to get a free TSA-approved bag lock with your purchase.
Yes, that's offer code BEYOND to get your lock with purchase of your Knack bag of choice.
This is Beyond the Bench with Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera. A look at sports and pop culture from beyond common sense. The show that constantly goes off the rails and might never get back on. When you don't belong, you're a bench warmer. On this show, there's no riding the bench. This is Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. Episode 28. Yes, I remembered the number this time.
Yes, so, first of all, I'm Nick Fodera. That's Nick Morgasen. I just wanted to give a quick thank you to the BBB people for our friends at the Big Bad Broadcast for stepping in for me last week on short notice. But, yeah, thanks for that.
They're funny guys, right?
Yeah, they are funny guys.
I mean, if you missed that episode, go check it out. Episode 27 up on our YouTube channel, and that's all rolling across the bottom. But before we get to anything, make sure you follow us on social media. Facebook, facebook.com/BeyondTheBench1. On Twitter, at BeyondTheBench1. And, of course, I forgot to correct the misspelling again. Instagram.com/BeyondTheBench1 without a U. And make sure you follow us on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network at ETV Network.
As always, this episode is brought to you by Knack Bags. We need to make sure that we are shouting out Knack because I've been putting so many things in my Knack bag, and this week it was a bag of M&Ms, and not one of them broke. So
wow.
Therefore, they're indestructible. You really need to go buy one, and what you can do is when you go to knackbags.com and you buy a bag, you buy a free you buy the TSA-approved lock. You use offer code BEYOND. That's BEYOND. You enter that code and you get that $15 TSA-approved lock totally free.
That's right, folks. Free. How often do we say we can offer something free to the public?
Gratis, not graded. Gratis.
All right, so we have a lot to get to, and one very important story that might be life-changing for not just the country, the entire world. So we'll get to Roe versus Wade, how a leak came out,
quote unquote. We're going to talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, that entire trash fire. We're going to talk about that 70s show, maybe. We're going to talk about bed bugs, and we're going to talk about, speaking of bed bugs, we're also going to talk about James Corden.
And could Bill Gates possibly want to remarry Melinda all over again? Yeah, there's a lot. This show's going to be nuts and wacky and crazy. So make sure that you strap in. Make sure you bring your favorite beverage or food to eat like that. Oh, I don't have my mason jar because it broke this time, but you know what it is. So, all right, here we go. So right off the bat, usually we don't start this serious. Would you agree with me, Nick?
We usually don't. I mean, even in the case where we did the subway shooting, we waited a bit to actually have to do that. But this is just so momentous, we needed to talk about it. So Politico published 2 days ago a draft opinion that is like a work in progress of a legal brief generated by a court decision generated by the Supreme Court of the United States, in which they indicate that Roe v. Wade is unconstitutional and shall be overturned. Now, one of the Chief Justices, Samuel Alito, took the lead on this one, and I think it was in all of the conservative judges voted to overturn it,
Yep.
and 3 of the liberal justices dissented. So if this goes through, that means that effectively Roe v. Wade will be dead, and essentially that means that about a dozen states will make abortion completely illegal, and there are certain states like Texas that have what's called a trigger law, meaning that the instant that Roe v. Wade is overturned, the instant that brief is issued, the decision is issued, abortion is technically is not even technically, 100% outlawed. And what we've seen over the past 48 hours in terms of reaction to this is you see a lot of conservative and Republican voices getting more mad about the leak than they are about the Supreme Court decision.
Before we go politics, because there's plenty of politics to talk about this, and we try not to talk a lot of politics because, again, that's a slippery slope that
it tends to follow us, though.
Right. And we're talking about, first of all, we're affecting a life-changing decision when it comes to women and their bodies having a choice over
women in this country now.
Well, in the world, not just not here, but like in general.
I mean, this could lead to other things changing worldwide. I mean, first of all, you don't. I should add as a caveat. We both live in New York. We live and work in New York, and a lot of blue states. Well, a lot of blue states do have laws on the books protecting abortion. So it's not going to go away everywhere. But what you don't want to do, you're potentially endangering millions of people's lives by saying to every woman in the red states, fuck you.
Well, you're missing something else. So, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. So if you get rid of the Roe versus Wade law, how does this affect, I hate to say this, but we need to discuss it, the rapes of the world?
I mean, every time you get every time a child unfortunately results from it, you're going to have to carry it to term.
And that's the problem.
Even in the case of ectopic pregnancies or pregnancies needing to be terminated for health reasons, they'll let the mother die before they let the fetus die.
And that's the problem. We hear this all the time and we talk about heroic stories where they save the newborn, but the mother doesn't make it because of whatever complications there was with the pregnancy. Like, we're talking about a situation where, like you said, it's life or death of the woman who could be carrying the child, the newborn.
Yeah, exactly. So which life are you going to... First of all, it kind of did. It's weird. It's the definition of life is kind of broad the way they use it. The way they think of it is the easiest way I've always thought about it is heart, brain, baby. Everything else before that, not a baby.
And you know what? The other...
And I hate to be so callous about that, but that's what this discourse has reduced us to.
Right. And then I see another opinion in the article from the CEO of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. That's the same thing, right? That's Planned Parenthood, which I can't stand partially sometimes their message, because they have a tendency to over accentuate certain things when it comes to parenthood.
See, but that's exactly where the dissonance lies, doesn't it? I mean, you conservatives and some conservative Democrats, it's not just a party thing. It's all about personal freedom. It's like you can do.
But wait a second.
You want, but
the CEO of Planned Parenthood is saying this leaked opinion is horrifying and unprecedented, and it confirms our worst fears that the Supreme Court is prepared to end the constitutional right to abortion by overturning Roe v. Wade. Now, I understand that it's I don't even know. I wouldn't even call this a political issue. People who are calling this a political issue, it's a physical and emotional issue, not a political issue.
It became a political issue because the Republican Party, back in 1973,
73 was the case.
Hitched themselves to this bandwagon, and because of that, you have to understand that something that, generations before didn't really think about or even give a shit about, all of a sudden became, it became a life or death issue. And really what it's about is that they really seem to want to punish people that get pregnant when they don't, when these people don't think they should.
But wait a minute.
It's about the, and I hate to use this term, but the punishing the sluts, which is just ridiculous and misogynistic and all that.
I don't think that's wrong. I mean, I think.
Wait. What do you mean? You
No. I'm saying I understand your point of view. Is what I mean. That it's unfortunately you run into a situation where if you don't have the law, then you can't protect the idiots of the world who do dumb things.
And it's not like this is going to outlaw abortion anyway. This is just going to make abortion much more dangerous. Because if it's not if there's not a constitutional right, it's not regulated. And if it's not regulated,
wait a minute. I'll give you one other caveat. You notice that people go outside their state of living.
Yeah,
they get an abortion.
They take risky trips. They go to back alley doctors that they don't know and they don't trust.
Which, by the way, is stupid. Stupid.
It's like speakeasy abortions, and it's horrifying.
So wait a minute. You get what you want out of it, but then your health is complicated for the rest of your life.
Or you die.
Or you die, right? And
or you bring a child into this world that you can't actually support, and that's not fair to the kid.
Right, but I was also going to say that I'm tired of every issue that we have to deal with. First, it was the riots when we had all the police shootings. Then it's Roe v. Wade. Then you have all these other issues. You have the COVID issues. Can we stop turning everything political? That's what I'm tired of.
I mean, this is not a new development. I mean, this has been something that conservatives have kind of lusted after, for about 40 years. So this is just the culmination of that plan. That's what some people are not getting here, and the fact that you would place more of a premium on constitutional decorum, or court decorum, than you would about the lives of millions of women that you're going to affect, means you care more about a fucking piece of paper than you do about.
It's not even that. It has to do with whoever's in the White House, and it could be left, right, center, indifferent. I could care less. It has to do with whoever's in the White House, who's controlling the politics, and then if they don't, so like if they decided, oh well, we're not going to have this is going to affect who's in the White House.
But this again, the president is kind of powerless to do anything.
Well, right, it's a Supreme Court issue. That's why the Supreme Court is. And first of all, whoever. Wait a minute.
Conservative justices, who were they appointed by?
Well, right, but at the same time, I would say whoever leaked this had a motive. In a law, anyone who says that this was accidentally leaked.
Accident.
Yeah. First of all, Mr. Journalist, you should know this better than anybody that a leak has a motive to it.
Which I can tell you. Accidentally spilling sauce on your shirt while you're eating is an accident. This is not an accident. This was done with intention and with purpose. Whether it was from one of the judges who dissented themselves, or their clerks, or somebody who has access to that kind of information.
Which should be illegal, by the way, if they leaked it.
But again, there should be more transparency in the process anyway. Because all this cloak and dagger bullshit, and you're making decisions that could potentially affect billions of lives. I mean, when Congress puts out a bill, you know what's in it before they pass it.
Well, right, but it should be illegal. That's technically classified information, isn't it?
What technically it is, but
it's leaking classified information that was not seen yet.
It's not. It's leaking confidential, not classified information.
All right, not classified, but confidential. It should have never gotten out. Because why do you think everyone's talking about it now?
Well, now it is. Now it is, and now you got to deal with it.
And unfortunately, both sides have to take blame for this, because both sides are responsible for keeping this information in tap until it was supposed to come out.
Honestly, I would blame you can blame the Republicans. I've been doing it this entire segment, but you know Biden just basically throwing his hands up and saying, "Well, this is why you need to vote." Is just you're the president. You can codify Roe v. Wade in the law of the land. You can do it. You can pretty much do what you want to do. That's the perks of becoming the president.
It's just
yes, there are checks and balances, but hell, you could drop trow and shit in a hat, and people would say, "Hang on, let me try on the hat."
I was gonna say though, this is a major issue. Roe v. Wade is a major issue, okay? But I think we have much more pressing issues that are going on in this world, including COVID, including other issues.
You're only saying that because you're not a woman.
No. But my point is that we're
the PPP, the privileged penis perspective.
No. First of all women should have the right to control their body in every way, shape, or form. So I wouldn't agree with this decision at all if they did this, to be quite honest with you. And I don't get it. Don't leak shit you're not supposed to leak. That's my point here. What are you doing?
I guess desperate times, desperate measures, and all that.
Now, do you think this was leaked by your bottom of the road, someone who is trying to work their way up to a higher position, or do you think this was leaked?
If I had to guess, it would probably be one of the clerks
who's looking to make a name, right?
Yeah, because who else would have access to it?
Well, the Congress people or Senate,
they technically don't have. There is nobody. This is what I say when I mean cloak and dagger, because this is a very secretive process, and there are very few people who get to see those deliberations and these draft opinions. So if we got it, that means somebody in that chain of command, squealed.
And that's the problem here. Any bills that are created should be kept under wraps until they're officially signed. And anyone who leaks should be in trouble.
I'm sorry, but I gotta disagree. As a journalist, I have.
So would you have leaked that story if you gotten it?
Absolutely.
Wow. I don't know. I would just be. I'd be too afraid of the complications.
They work. No. It's about consent of the governed. They work for us. We don't work for them.
No, but I'd just be afraid of the complications. Like if my name's out there, and then everyone's going to be like, "Well, this person got the information. How did they get it? And are they trying to change people's minds in that regard?" I don't know.
Absolutely are.
But all right. I mean, it's a hot button topic. It's one of those things like when you and I spoke about the riots way back in the beginning of the pandemic and how we were trying to figure out what the best plan of action was to deal with those stories. But I don't know. All right. Let's move on from Roe v. Wade to let's take a jump on the pirate ship.
Heard v. Depp.
Yeah, if you're looking on social media on Twitter, that's been trending for quite a while.
And I've been seeing a hell of a lot of coverage of this on YouTube, and it's like it's heavily tilted in his favor, and it's like that's that. It makes me feel kind of icky.
I know. Well, there's one of two options to describe this. Okay, one of them is this. That's one, because right now I feel like we're in a giant microcosm trying to figure out this whole situation of who's right, who's wrong.
Which you never will, but it really seems like they people that are on Johnny Depp's really have it out for Amber Heard. I mean, this is not. Yeah, you would think the woman burned down an orphanage full of puppies.
Yeah, but do you think that it was weird that she possibly could have shit in the bed that they were sleeping in?
I mean, it really does seem like that was a bad relationship from both sides, but you never put your hands on a woman.
No, I agree with you. You're 100% right in every way. I'm just saying that I think she supposedly, this is alleged, so I don't know.
He already admitted to being verbally abusive and a mean drunk.
No, but he alleged that she cut off like the tip of his finger. Also, like there's some weird.
I mean, abuse victims don't have to be perfect little angels.
I agree. It's just that this case got so public so fast.
It did, and they're really using the social media and all its fetid glory to try and
by the way,
a opinion in his favor.
One of our favorite papers got involved again.
The Post.
The Washington Post.
Oh God!
Can someone? And I need Mr. Journalist. I need to ask a question here. Okay, why do these big name papers, whether it's Washington, New York, L.A., the big markets, why do they feel that getting involved is in their favor?
Getting involved to what extent?
Doing stupid things like writing publications to the point where they blow it up when it really shouldn't be.
To what are you referring specifically?
So part of the deposition that was involved and the evidence that was involved was a story that was supposedly written by Amber Heard or people that wrote it for her.
But she wrote an op-ed?
Yes. And
the Me Too thing.
Right. And then so he's using that as well, not mentioning him directly by name, but it's kind of like the implied theory.
Yeah.
See,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right. And in journalism, I don't know how that works. So if you imply, you can prove someone is talking about someone even without saying their name, right?
Which, again, libel laws in this country being what they are,
they're impossible to prove. Impossible to prove.
It's impossible to prove. You have to prove that she knew it was false and did it anyway.
But these are big enough names.
As far as giving her a space, I mean, she didn't specifically mention him. So, again, in a court of law, you can do, I didn't say his name, so I could not have, I didn't mean him. You can't prove it.
Agreed. But at the same time, when you have two high-profile names like this, it's kind of obvious in some aspects that it could have happened.
It's a thorny area, but again, proving malice or forethought is always going to be. That's why this trial is taking place in the UK and not in America.
Well, no, it moved back though. I thought they're doing part of it in Virginia now, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, right. It says right here, planning to ask a Virginia judge on.
Yeah, but the libel lawsuit I think was in against the Sun. So
yes,
that was done in the UK.
But this is actually being done in Virginia now.
Yeah.
And what's so bizarre about this is like they even entered a tweet into evidence. I never thought I'd hear the day that a tweet would ever enter physical evidence.
I mean, this is just getting nastier and nastier as time goes on. I mean, it's just a matter of this is going to throw every single Me Too case under more scrutiny than it deserves because now you hear about Marilyn Manson suing Evan Rachel Wood because Johnny Depp gave him wind in his sails. Now he's gonna sue Evan Rachel Wood for defamation.
I mean, we'll get to what this headline says in a second, but the way I would characterize this, and I think your line I'm about to play makes sense for this, but
congratulations, dickweeds!
Because basically Johnny Depp has opened it up for the entire world to bring a dumb case to the forefront. Now, Amber Heard, now to get to the actual headline, filed a motion to toss Johnny Depp's $50 million defamation case.
Yeah, she did.
And I think she's countersuing for $100 million on top of it.
So this is going to be dragged out for months and months and months and months more, folks.
And and the other line, this is the other part of the story as well, that Johnny Depp was set to receive $22.5 million for Pirates 6. If people don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, it was going to do a 6th movie. Disney was going to do it. And the agent said that he was set to be paid $22.5 million. And then this case basically knocked that out of the water.
Which, speaking for somebody who actually didn't like the 4th one and didn't see the last 2, thank God we dodged a bullet.
By the way, I'm surprised they're really willing to pay him that amount of money.
So am I. But you know what? I mean, what? Yeah, unless you can prove, you know, unless you can prove that there was communication between you and the Disney execs at the time, saying that, hey, she cheated me out of a paycheck. I mean, again, the burden of proof being what it is.
Right now, the issue is if it was proven that the op-ed by Amber Heard in the Washington Post was actually about Johnny Depp, he might have a case, possibly.
If you could prove it, but it's exceedingly difficult. That's how libel laws work in this country.
What's the odds of winning a libel suit in the U.S.?
They happen, but they don't happen. They don't happen as often as you might think.
And you don't think having high-profile names?
It's mostly to protect. It's mostly to protect the reputation of people and of publications.
No, but I'm saying, do you think high-profile names could actually make a difference in this case?
I mean, I don't think they'd go for it because they are public figures. I mean, because you defame somebody, that may follow them around that may follow if they're just a regular person, that may deter them from doing other things. But as a public figure in the strictest sense of the definition,
Yes.
Johnny Depp. I mean, Johnny Depp. Everybody knows who Johnny Depp is.
Well, I want to say one
You
thing.
technically can't defame him since he is a public figure.
I was going to say that I get tired of celebrities, and I think you know what I'm about to say about the whole public figure thing here, is I hate when celebrities go on social media or they go out on a TV interview or a radio interview. Trust, I've seen this many times at my last job, that, oh my God, they said horrible things about me. I'm going to sue. You signed up for it to be a public figure. You signed up for it.
Exactly.
You're making millions of dollars.
This is about fragile egos. Elon Musk spent $40-something billion because he couldn't take the fact that people making fun of him on Twitter.
You know what? I don't like what you're saying. I'm gonna buy you. I mean, unfortunately, I shouldn't even say unfortunately. You know what? Screw that. I can give two shits about what celebrities do when they get mad about public figures. Do they like making millions of dollars? If you like making millions of dollars, then you have to accept the fact that people are going to say bad things about you.
There's a trade-off.
Look,
besides, you make enough money that you really shouldn't care about these things.
I'll tell you a story that I talked about with the guys from the Big Bad broadcast last week. Was when Kris Jenner got into her vehicle and she totally verbally abused the driver. When she told the driver to get out of the car, I have a private phone call I have to make. Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Again, this is the expectation that I'm famous and therefore I am exempt from everything.
You know what the driver should have said? You know what the driver should have said? Get out of my vehicle. I don't owe you anything. You're in my vehicle.
I can find another job.
I don't need to drive you. If you don't like the rules, then go get out. That's what I would have said. I don't care. Because technically you're using a service. A service. And this is the same thing. We're talking about using a service of the court. And the thing is, I wish this whole case would get thrown out and we didn't have to hear it anymore, to be quite honest. Because I feel like both sides are wrong in certain aspects. And she seems like a real bitch, to be quite honest. And don't get me wrong, he's a real asshole too. His whole life has been made up of asshole comments and situations. So, this case is going to play out for months and months and months, like you said, and it's going to be landmark whenever this case ends. Whatever the decision's going to be, someone's going to yell and scream, and you might as well add a few more months to it because there's going to be an appeals process on either side when this comes out.
Absolutely.
So you might not get a whole result for another year at this rate.
Like I said, it's hard to prove these things. It's almost like this case was deliberately designed to gum up the works and move at a snail's pace.
And by the way, the lawyers are a bunch of idiots. Like, I can't stand watching lawyers in high profile cases because they purposely cut people off while they're talking. They're purposely looking for their own points of views. I feel like lawyers just are sleazy people sometimes.
I mean, it took you that long to come to that conclusion?
No, I'm just saying lawyers are sleazy people, and they purposely, like, I was watching it a few times on when they had the case on YouTube, and they were basically, and they would ask the witnesses a question, and all of a sudden, as they're answering, no, that's not my question. I asked this, so answer my question. I'm like, Jesus, like I know you think you're a Hollywood lawyer and you're important, but like
You're not.
you're not.
All right.
All right.
Moving on.
All right. From let's see, from movie drama to Disney drama.
Yes, from human bugs to bed bugs.
So I see this story and I said, Nick and I would love to riff on this story. Nick? Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I thought you saw a bed bug. Anyway.
No. Then I would have chucked something at it.
So I guess you could say I wouldn't say this is the greatest place on earth because it's not Disney World, it's Disneyland. So Disneyland Hotel pays out the nose to settle bed bug suit. Now, have you ever been to a hotel before where you've had any issues in the room?
Oh yeah,
We all have.
We've been in filthy hotel rooms. We've been in hotel rooms where the air conditioner didn't work.
Oh God.
I've had to sleep on dirty sheets, which I hate. Dirty showers, and yeah, but never bed bugs though. Thank God.
So
Knock on wood.
I look at the story and it says the Disney Hotel, which is the quintessential, your favorite word, Nick, go-to place to stay for any serious Disney fan visiting Anaheim in California, recently settled a claim brought by Ivy Eldridge, who alleged a few years back, oh God, I thought this was recent, a few years back, that she got chewed out literally by a bed bug infestation in their quarters. Eldridge claimed in 2018 that bedbugs were all over her room during her stay in the spring of that year, something she alleged the hotel staff failed to notify her, although she claimed they apparently knew about it.
About there being bed bugs and you didn't do anything about it? First of all, a couple of years ago or not, it's Disneyland. You're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and you still got bed bugs in your beds?
No, maybe they thought it was one of the Disney characters that got in the bed instead and wanted to pay a visit.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he could have passed it off as a marketing opportunity. My bed is full of Jiminy Crickets.
Jesus.
It's like you're trying to drift off to sleep and then all of a sudden you hear, let your conscience be your guide.
Jeez. I was going to say, oh, wait, it's a bug's life. But this is disgusting. Like, I've seen many things. I went to Disney World for like 13 or 14 straight years as a family vacation. We never had bed bugs. Never. Knock on wood. We've never had bed bugs. But we've had to switch hotel rooms before because things were not right, or air conditioning, like you said, or sheets were not set, or
filthy showers are just
that. Yeah, we've had that.
Filthy sheets. It's like, ugh. And I don't consider myself a clean a clean freak or a neat freak, but there's just something about sleeping on dirty sheets. It's just ugh.
Wait, so on a scale of 1 to Howie Mandel, where are you?
Probably somewhere, but if there's a 1 to 10, it's probably like a 5.
So you're in the middle. So you're not Howie Mandel status. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Because Howie Mandel literally will fist bump you. He won't even shake your hand or do anything.
Hey, Howie had the right idea.
Agreed. Because it's a much different situation as a celebrity. But so listen to this. As a result, she said she got bit up all over, and that the bed bugs were basically vampires sucking her blood to the point it caused a rash.
Okay, so if you can prove, oh God,
I'm looking at some of the pictures, by the way. Like, it's a little disturbing. Like, they even write on it warning graphic photos.
Oh God.
But neither here nor there. Eldridge took photos of the alleged injuries at the time, and yeah, they were indeed gnarly, according to TMZ. This suit has been working its way through the pipeline. I see what they did there. For a while. But it appears it's finally reached its conclusion because Eldridge lawyers tells us Disney Hotel coughed up $100,000 to square this off. Let me say that again.
God.
Let me say that again. $100,000.
And what does it take? Really,
I mean-
what does it take to what does it take to keep a hotel room clean? You know what? Either you're gonna pay $100,000 now, or you're gonna pay a monthly salary from our cleaning crew.
But what the hell? Like $100,000 just to square this away? What? So their motive was that I'm a big corporation. I have the money. I'll just give it to them to go away, right?
At a certain point, ladies and gentlemen, it's just the incompetence that is on display here. It just boggles the mind.
Wait a minute. Her legal team, headed by, let me make sure I get this right. Headed by Brian Verag. Oh, God. What is this? My Bedbug Lawyer, Inc. That's the name of the company. Added that, quote, bedbugs don't discriminate. They are found in hotels of all quality levels throughout the country and worldwide. That's your defense?
I got nothing. Ladies and
That's your
gentlemen,
defense? Are you kidding me?
I mean, your defense is shit happens.
I mean, what's next? Is Aaron Rodgers going to come out and say that I should get some of that money because I was wronged for something?
I technically am part bedbug, so I should get something.
I'm part bedbug. And you know what? They shouldn't have to get vaccinated either, he's saying.
Maybe we should get a sponsorship with Drano because he's also a toilet bug.
Oh, God. What is happening?
Moving on.
All right. From bedbugs to now revivals. That 70s show, which I loved, by the way, I watched in reruns a lot, is being developed as that 90s show spinoff for Netflix.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen anything going on with Netflix over the past couple of weeks, this is obviously an ass-covering maneuver to end all ass-covering maneuvers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when you've shuttered your publication after making reporters move across the country and then shutting down the publication and leaving these people whom you've made travel across the country, you're essentially stranding them. You need something to distract from all the bad publicity, don't you?
Well, you mean like the story we talked about 2 weeks ago where Netflix wants to add commercials to everything now?
Yep.
Or better yet, the 30 or 40% drop in revenue that you had?
Now, I'm gonna level with you folks. I've never actually seen that 70s show.
Oh,
I know a lot of the people on it. A lot of really good people have gotten their start there. But Kurtwood Smith, to me, is always going to be Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop. Think of him as Red Foreman.
But first of all, his character in that 70s show is like the perfect form of you and I when we get to that age of sarcasm.
Which, honestly, like I said with the iCarly thing a couple of weeks ago, it's specifically designed to make us feel old.
I got to watch the second season. I finally got through the first one.
It is specifically designed to make us feel old.
Well, by the way, it's an adult version. Let's clarify that. First of all, iCarly coming back.
I'm not talking about iCarly. I'm talking about what they're planning here.
Oh, well, this was always an adult show. This was they're just updating the eras from the 70s to the 90s.
Which is basically just saying, hey, Gen Z.
Essentially. And
Gen Z, you ever heard about dial-up internet or phone books?
Essentially, that's what it's going to be. And then
Capri-Sun pouches.
But
handy
now
snacks. Remember handy snacks?
Yeah, I do. Actually.
We do.
I feel old that I remember that. But so now I forgot who the two main characters were. I know Donna was one of them. Who was the other guy that was played by Topher Grace?
Eric, what's his face?
What? Oh,
Eric, what's his face?
Eric and Donna. Now they're married and apparently they have kids. When their relationship was complicated in that 70s show, if you remember.
I'm not even, like I said, I've never watched the show.
It was a pop culture phenomenon. I mean, even if you didn't watch it, you kind of knew what was.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, like I said, I'm aware of it. I know what it is.
By the way, their theme song for that show was one of the best ever written over the time. I mean, I can sort of hanging out down the street. Like they would just be in a car, and each time they would just be. It was one of the best. But when you have Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and Kunis, whatever, and Wilmer Valderrama, like three big names that people didn't really know back then. Like you had them all in the same show.
And there was another guy they had to kick off. He's not being invited back because of the whole
Danny Masterson,
right?
Yeah, Danny Masterson, who is on trial for sexual assault allegations. Oh, that's not surprised. That's what they did to Lori Loughlin when they were gonna finish up Fuller House. They didn't invite her back.
I mean, in prison for defrauding a college is pretty different than sexually assaulting a woman.
I would say sexual assault is bad, obviously, but I mean, I find it interesting though because this one, I don't know if you would call this a revival. What would you call this?
A sequel.
Well, they're calling it a spinoff, but this is rare because most of the characters are coming back. You don't see that in very many. Like they'll make appearances, but I think they're actually coming back and they're going to make quite a few guest spots and be characters.
But it's a sequel, so
I like the show. I hope they don't destroy it like they do in some spin-offs or revivals. I hope not. Please, I'm begging you, don't destroy it. Because I like the show and but they said it's the same writers.
So here's hoping. I just hope you enjoy it.
But all right, so let's move on. We'll stay in the TV realm, and we're going to talk about what you and I love to hate: late night television.
No, I don't really understand why people don't like James Corden. Is it because he's annoying?
Yes.
Okay, there's the answer to my question.
You were pretty spot on. I mean, I like the carpool karaoke. I think that became a viral sensation.
Which is really, I don't really think that has anything to do with him.
Well, it was a bit on the show.
Yeah, I know it was a bit on the show, but I'm just saying people didn't, tune into carpool karaoke to watch him sing.
No, it was whoever big name he was with in the car. I mean, it's like what Seinfeld did with what is it? Comedians in cars drinking coffee.
In cars getting coffee.
Yeah, so that I mean that one they're more watching for him because he's the name. But I don't know. I mean, how long late night television destroys you at some point, like mentally, physically, like
because to have to do this for like a decade.
Well, look at the names
every
who are
single
in it.
night.
But look at the names who are in it right now. So you have Corden, who's leaving in, I think, the end of 2023. You have Kimmel. You have Fallon. Seth Meyers. Who am I leaving out? Am I leaving out anybody? Colbert, who I can't stand, by the way. Who should not be in late night television because all he cares about is politics. But
excuse me?
That's all he cares about.
You're talking about a guy who got his start on The Daily Show.
I know. And he was way over the top with politics.
Again, because that's his thing.
I know, but how? That's why I don't like Jimmy Kimmel either, because Jimmy Kimmel's monologue is always about politics.
Well, again, though, he started out as doing, just regular stand-up and doing the Man Show. Then he transitioned into politics, but Stephen Colbert has always been like that.
I mean, trust me, I know the whole story about the Man Show. I interviewed Adam Carolla back in college.
I know you did.
When I did college radio, and he told me the whole story about Jimmy Kimmel and how he came to be through K-Rock, which was a Los Angeles radio station, and how they basically turn their weird bits on the radio station into the Man Show eventually. But I'm not a big fan of late night television. I never have been. I don't get the gist of late night television. It just seems like a big FU to comedy at times.
I mean, it hasn't really been newsworthy stuff or big headline making stuff since Leno retired. So
It's not even that. The only time late night television is good for anything was when, don't throw anything at me, but when Trump was in office, that's when late night television decided to thrive.
you're lucky I don't throw something at you.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that's what they did. That's the only time they thrived. Because every time he said something stupid, that's when late night television was on top of it.
At a certain point, though, it's just you get sick of the grind of it.
Agreed. You literally have to be on your game 5 days a week. Now people say, "Oh, it's only an hour a day." Well, how much prep do you think goes into late night television? A lot. You have to do interviews. Sometimes you have to talk about topics that are not exactly the easiest to talk about either, especially if it's on it's supposed to be a comedy show.
So yeah, you kind of find yourself in an awkward position.
I want to know what social media star, because that's where we're heading in late night television. What big trending name in the world of social media are they going to put in this spot?
Oh God,
I can't wait to see. They're going to put someone who has no TV experience and just has social media experience. That's where we're headed.
I have no idea. Probably someone I don't know.
Watch, I could see them putting like a Jake Paul there just because of all his following. Just wait. That's going to be the announcement. All right, Jake Paul taking over the Late Late Show. Because again, he's got 20 million subscribers on YouTube. That's all they care about now. That's all this TV digital world cares about is subscribers. They don't care about anything else. All they care about is money and following. They don't care if it makes good content. When's the last time any late night show was happy about content?
Carson.
I mean, think about this. Why do you think, like on shows like Corden, shows like Kimmel, Fallon, Seth Meyers, why do you think they all have celebrity names on it every night?
Because you're selling soap.
I mean, what happened to the days, like you said, with Carson, where Carson would actually like do a little stand-up in his show?
His monologue.
Well, but I'm saying, like, now the monologues are now including celebrities in it. They don't even do the monologues by themselves anymore.
They don't, and you know what it is. You try to. There's a bit of artifice that comes with it anyway. I mean, there's always going to be an element of somebody's here to promote something, but it doesn't mean you can't be smart about it. It doesn't mean you can't be, even innovative about it. That's what Letterman was about in the beginning.
See, what's interesting also is it says apparently CBS executives presented a number of deals to keep Corden on board. The offers reportedly included 3- and 2-year extensions, as well as a rolling 1-year deal, which I don't know what that means. But
so 1-year deal, and then a 1-year deal, and a 1-year deal, and around and around and around we go.
I mean, I guess the way it's like baseball. I guess you have options, or any sport, you have options. So if you want to play, fine. If not, all right, see ya. Don't need that anymore. But they're going to pick a social media star. That's where we're heading. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pick some ridiculous name that does well with the digital crowd, but has no idea how to work a TV audience or a live audience. It's going to flop, and we'll be back here in like a year talking about how that was a complete failure. I'm serious. That's what I think is going to happen here.
I mean, I guess we'll have to see what happened.
It says it's unclear if CBS has started searching for Corden's replacement yet. Huh? You knew this and you haven't started looking yet? We're halfway through the year.
I mean, just get Eric Andre and get it over with.
Now that would be hilarious. That would be amazing.
Just turn it into a half-hour episode of Tim and Eric.
All right. From late night television, one more story to go. Now, Nick, when I told you about this story, you and I kind of were very confused by this. Bill Gates said he would remarry Melinda.
Now, is he saying this is a hypothetical? Is what I want to know.
I don't really know. So they're divorced. We've already confirmed they're divorced.
We covered when they got divorced,
and like he had to pay it off because he didn't have a prenup, and stupidly didn't have a prenup. And now, after all this time, he supposedly said that he would possibly remarry her, and I was like, huh?
Doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, has it ever occurred to him, like, I'm Bill Gates, I can do what I want, I can marry whoever I want?
It says he also suggested that they're still on friendly terms,
which again, because they have kids together, don't they?
They do, but to say they're on friendly terms,
I mean, it really depends on what you think broke the marriage apart. Was it the thing with Epstein, or was it something else?
I don't know. But they, in the article, he also discusses the Epstein situation also.
Yeah, I think he refers to it as a couple of mistakes I made. It's like, gee, you think?
I don't know. He's quoted as saying, "From my point of view, it was a great marriage. I wouldn't have changed it. I wouldn't choose to marry someone else." He also said, "Yes, I'm talking about would I marry Melinda all over again? In terms of my future, I don't have any plans, but I highly recommend marriage."
Which really, I think, endears him to a lot of the rest of us losers here. It's like, no matter how much money you got, you could definitely still be awkward around people.
And they still have their foundation, which they're working together on still. Which,
yeah, so technically, you can't get rid of Melinda even if she wanted to. She can't get rid of him.
But what's so weird is when asked if he still views them as friends, he acknowledged that, and she didn't. But in a quote, in an interview, she chose not to use that word, but I'll use it. He said, quote, "We have a, super important, complex, close relationship where we've chosen to work together, and I'm very happy that we get to work together." Okay.
So should I just change your Facebook status to "It's complicated"?
I was just about to say the same thing. Jesus,
because I think that's what you're getting. Because I think that's what they're getting at.
I don't. So speaking, I think this was with Gayle King last month, and that sometimes could be interesting. Melinda said that she's hesitant to call Bill a, quote, friend following their divorce. We're friendly at this point. Let's see. Friend is a different word for me. That might come over time, but for me, there's still healing that needs to happen. Certainly, I wish him well. I don't wish him harm. She cited that.
Wish you any specific harm. Just
She's
general, like, vague.
Wait. So you asked before what the reasons were. She cited the Epstein connection as one of the many reasons they split. So there's your answer.
Well, I mean, jet setting around the world with a convicted pedophile, a convicted pedophile and groomer. I mean, that really does tend to, if I may, just if I ever write a book about marriage lessons, it's just going to be that. Don't jet set around the world with a convicted pedophile, okay?
Oh God! And we're not. And let's be very clear: we're not laughing at this story by any means. It's just laughable what dumb people do.
It's just. I mean, you're supposed to be smarter than this. Rich people really. They love to to think about how much better they are than the rest of us. But I ain't getting on that plane. Would you?
I wouldn't. No, hell no. You kidding me?
Even if it was to give the motherfucker the time of day, I would just say, get your own watch, motherfucker, and then run in the other direction.
You know what's scary, though? Like you just said, billionaire, very smart, came up with Microsoft.
There's something that I like to call book smart, but street stupid.
Oh, well, yeah, that. And I think he's got a screw loose somewhere. I think he's got many screws loose somewhere.
Yeah, like I said, book smart, street stupid.
I mean, I think he's micro hard, not Microsoft at this point.
Oh, God, we're going off the rails again. All right, so
Yeah, I think we had enough for this episode. Just so people know, follow us on social media. Let me go back up here on Twitter at Beyond the Bench One. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Bench One. And if I can quickly correct the spelling error, because I still have not. There we go. Follow Beyond the Bench on Instagram, instagram.com/Beyond the Bench One, and on our podcast network, Empty the Bench Podcast Network at ETB Network, which is also presented by Knack bags as well. Make sure you'll go out and get your Knack bag. And if you want a TSA-approved lock, $15 value for free, make sure you put the TSA-approved lock in your cart. Use the code BEYOND, BEYOND, and you will get that TSA-approved lock for free. And also, just so people know, we are expanding a lot on the podcast network as well. And we have a lot of new shows along the way that we are going to be announcing in the next couple weeks. We also have interns, Nick.
So you'll be seeing a brand new couple of brand new faces around here, hopefully. And so you don't want to miss it all. So just make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our stuff on social media. Make sure you engage with us because we're watching you. Will you watch us?
Well, just be careful if we're watching.
That sounds ominous, doesn't it?
I'm not going to make that joke. That's really inappropriate. I'll tell Nick that joke off the air because I don't think that'd be very appropriate for now. But this has been episode 28 of Beyond the Bench, presented by Knack Bags, like I said, and we will be back next week with more shenanigans and more craziness. So, for Nick Fodera, I'm Nick Morgasen. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you back on the bench.